let's talk about ETs and UFOs, because this is a cultural hot topic right now.
Sure.
I haven't actually seen the Pentagon release anything yet, but they're supposed to. So
Deadline is June 25th, I believe.
June 25th. Okay, because I thought it was happening at the beginning of June. Haven't seen it much news, but they're starting to, like, some of these, mainstream media is starting to show more sort of video footage and have experts on talking about it. So yeah, would love to hear your experience with ETs and UFOs. It seems like we're going to have more information about just like, here are some crafts, here are the actual UFOs and the objects and sort of the physics that they have, and not, maybe they're not going to talk so much about ETs, but we'd just love to hear your experience.
First of all, in regards to the disclosure, I don't think that the people behind it have our best interests in mind, for a very simple reason. Anytime we've seen technology out there, or individuals out there, human or not human, but let's stick to human for recorded history at least. Anytime we've seen technology that can help us, individuals who can help us and benefit humanity, unless that technology or those people could be monetized, it was always destroyed. So take Tesla and Edison. Edison took down Tesla for a very simple reason, because Tesla, they did not know how to monetize Tesla's technology, even though it was incredible and free energy. People in power that make money off of energy don't like free energy, because then they're no longer in power and they no longer have the capital to do what they do. So with that being said, with the crafts that we're seeing today, call them what you want, they are at a much higher level of technology than we have today here on Earth, according to our level of awareness of what we have here on Earth, at least in the first place. And with that being said, if those crafts were to come out mainstream and to be accepted mainstream as a great thing, well, the transportation industry, the oil industry, gasoline, electricity, all of it would go into the garbage. Right now, we're seeing a fight just between oil and electric. Imagine what happens if a technology came out right now that makes both of those obsolete. It's like, it's incomprehensible. But that technology exists. That technology can travel intergalactically faster than the speed of light. They call it the power of thought, or the speed of thought, something that makes the speed of light look like a walk in the park. So right now, we're so physically oriented. People like Jeremy Corbell, people like Bob Lazar, who I love, by the way, and I think that they're great. But Bob Lazar talks about element 115. And they say if we stabilize element 115, that's the missing formula to making these crafts work. And he's absolutely wrong, because the way these crafts, well, he's partially wrong. The way these crafts work are not just physically speaking. It's not just physical technology. There's a spiritual technology behind it as well. So with all the physical technology that these crafts need to operate, they also need the consciousness of the operator that's transferred through the hand, that's connected to a dashboard in those crafts, at least the ones that I know of. So picture you walk into this craft, no matter how big or how small, and there are small ones and there are ones that are the size of New York City and multiple football fields put together. Wow. They're massive ones. Now, the way that they work, to my knowledge at least, with the ones that I know of, I can't speak on everyone because we haven't seen everyone, right? I don't know about everyone, but the ones that I do know of, they have the equivalent of like a dashboard, like a glass panel. I don't know if it's glass, by the way, I'm just saying it's glass. It's something that's touchscreen. It could be made of crystal glass. I have no idea. The operator, and it's not one with seat belts and all that. That's not how these things work. That's how we think it works, because we're used to things like turbulence and the way that laws of physics works in our level of awareness, but that's not how they work. So the way that they work is they pretty much take their hand and the operator would take their hand and put it on this panel of whatever it's made of. And wherever they touch on the panel, that part of the panel would light up with some sort of halo or light. Again, I don't know what that thing is made of, but that's how it would look if you were in there. It's not like a 747 cockpit where you have 1,000 different buttons and you have to learn and go to flight school and all that. You have the equivalent of flight school in this level of awareness is reaching a higher level of awareness to be able to operate these things in the first place. When the hand touches the panel and they do what they do through what we call the power of thought, the craft becomes an extension of the operator's consciousness. And the way that we see crafts going thousands of miles an hour and stopping on a dime, or making a right hand turn a 90-degree angle without the craft blowing up and without the individuals in the craft splattering against the wall, is because that craft is not bound by the laws of physics that we know today. Now, remember that the laws of physics that we know today are the laws of physics that we know today based on our current level of awareness. And as our current level of awareness expands, we understand the laws of physics differently. What was impossible one day becomes possible the next day based on our level of awareness. So those individuals operating these crafts are not just at a higher level of awareness, but they allow the craft and they cause the craft to transcend dimensions, not in terms of not being able to see it. You can see it, it's physical. In terms of what it's able to do. In other words, go 5,000 miles an hour and stop. Or literally bounce out to a point where you think it teleported and it's just going really, really fast, faster than the speed of light through the power of thought. So that's how these things would operate, to my knowledge at least, but it has to do with physical technology. We will never operate or learn how to operate those crafts if we stick to the physical aspect of life, because the power of thought is the key to making those crafts an extension of the operator's consciousness, which is why we see it doing things that don't make sense, because their level of awareness supersedes and far exceeds ours here on Earth.